Ever heard of a dynasty that ruled for 450 years? Longer than the A dynasty that minted coins with their own images. A practice unheard of in India at the time. We're talking about the Satavahanas. And their story begins with a man shrouded in mystery and power. Simuka. His tale isn't just a dry history lesson. It's a saga of ambition, rebellion, and the birth of an empire that would shape the destiny of the Deccan for centuries. Imagine the year 60 BCE. The once mighty Mauryan Empire has crumbled. In its place, the Shunga and Kanva dynasties are struggling to hold on to power in the north. But down in the Deccan, a new force is rising. A young leader named Simuka, whose origins are debated by historians to this day, decides it's time for a change. He sees the weakness of the Kanva rulers, and he's not going to wait for an invitation to take power. What drives a man to challenge an established empire? Was it pure ambition, a desire to protect his people, or a calculated move in a high-stakes Game of Thrones? The story of Simuka is filled with these questions. Some ancient texts praise him as a righteous king, while others paint him as a ruthless tyrant who was eventually overthrown for his wickedness. So, who was the real Simuka? To find out, we need to travel back over 2,000 years, to the heart of ancient India, and piece together the clues left behind in stone inscriptions, ancient coins, and conflicting Puranic texts. Join me as we uncover the incredible story of Simuka, the founder of the great Satavahana Empire. The journey to understand Simuka begins with the Puranas, ancient Hindu texts that contain genealogies of kings. According to these records, Simuka was the first king of the Satavahana or Andhra dynasty. They state he came to power by overthrowing the last Kanva king Sushu. This was no small feat. The Kanvas, while weakened, were the successors to the Shungas, who themselves succeeded the mighty Mauryan. To challenge them was to challenge the established order of Magadha, the traditional seat of imperial power. The Puranas suggest this pivotal event happened around 60 BCE. Simuka, leading a powerful tribe from the Deccan, likely saw an opportunity in the political vacuum. He didn't just defeat some, he completely uprooted the Kanva dynasty, ending their 45-year rule and establishing his own authority. This act marked a significant shift in Indian history. For the first time, a major power based in the Deccan was asserting dominance over the traditional northern heartland. It was a bold declaration that the future of India would not be decided by Magadha alone. Simuka established his capital at Pratistana Moderandi Pathon in Maharashtra, a strategic location that would serve as the heart of his new empire. But here's where the story gets complicated. While the Puranas give us this dramatic account of a coup, other evidence suggests a more gradual rise to power. The Nangot inscription, a famous rock inscription from a later Satavahana queen Naganika, mentions Simuka as the founder of the royal family. However, it doesn't give him the title of Rajan or king. Instead, the first person in the inscription to hold that title is Simuka's son, Satakarni. This has led some historians to believe that Simuka might have been more of a chieftain who laid the groundwork, and it was his son who truly consolidated the kingdom. So, was Simuka a king or a chieftain? The answer might lie in the coins. The Satavahanas were one of the first indigenous Indian dynasties to issue coins with the ruler's portrait. Coins bearing the legend Rano Simuka Satabana have been found. The title Rano is a Prakrit form of Rajan, meaning king. This numismatic evidence strongly supports the idea that Simuka did indeed declare himself king and ruled as a sovereign monarch. It seems he not only conquered territory, but also established the key symbols of kingship, like issuing his own currency, setting a precedent for his entire dynasty. His reign is believed to have lasted for 23 years, from approximately 60 BCE to 37 BCE. During his 23-year reign, Simuka was not idle. He focused on consolidating his newfound power. His kingdom was centered in the modern-day regions of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. He was a skilled administrator who understood the importance of a strong economic foundation. He continued the use of coinage started by earlier empires but innovated by putting his own name on them. A brilliant move for propaganda and asserting his legitimacy. This helped standardize trade and commerce across his growing territories. Militarily, he was a formidable leader. After overthrowing the Kanvas, he had to secure his borders against other regional powers, who were also vying for supremacy in the post-Mauryan landscape. His reign was likely marked by constant skirmishes and strategic alliances to protect and expand his nascent kingdom. He laid the foundation for the military machine that would allow his successors, like the great Satakarni I and Gautamiputra Satakarni, to perform spectacular conquests and expand the empire to its greatest extent. Now, let's talk about a controversial aspect of Simuka's story: his religion. Early in his life, It is believed that Simuka was an adherent of Jainism. There are Jaina traditions and texts that speak of him building both Jaina temples and Buddhist stupas. This reflects the religiously pluralistic society of the time, where rulers often patronized multiple faiths to ensure peace and support from all their subjects. It was a politically savvy move. However, the Puranas tell a different story about the end of his life. They claim that, in his later years, Simuka became wicked and tyrannical. Jaina Taksida Tetigali Panaya mentions a king named Satavahana, who became a violent oppressor and was ultimately dethroned and killed. While it's not definitively Simuka, the name is too close to ignore. This narrative of a good king turning bad is a common theme in ancient literature, often used as a cautionary tale. Why would he be portrayed this way? Some scholars suggest that as he grew more powerful, he may have shifted his allegiance more firmly towards Brahmanism, the religion of the canvas he had overthrown. This could have alienated Jaina and Buddhist communities, who had initially supported him. The mention of him becoming wicked might be a reflection of this perceived betrayal, recorded by scribes from the faiths he supposedly abandoned. This part of his story remains a historical debate, a puzzle with missing pieces. Was he a just ruler who was unfairly maligned, or did absolute power corrupt him? The truth is likely somewhere in between. Simuka's reign came to an end around 37 BCE, according to the Puranas. He ruled for 23 years. After his death, he was succeeded not by his son, but by his brother Kanna, also known as Krishna. This is another interesting detail. Why his brother and not his son? It might suggest a system of fraternal succession, where the throne passed from brother to brother before going to the next generation. This was not uncommon in ancient dynasties, and was often a way to ensure an experienced adult was always on the throne. Kanna continued the expansion of the empire, extending its influence further south. He ruled for about 10 or 18 years, depending on the manuscript, and after his reign, the throne finally passed to Simuka's son, the powerful Satakarni I. It was under Satakarni I that the Satavahana Empire truly began to flex its muscles, performing Vedic sacrifices like the Ashvamedha to declare his imperial sovereignty. But none of that would have been possible without the foundation laid by his father. So, what is the legacy of Simuka? He was more than just a name and a king. He was a visionary who saw an opportunity in chaos and seized it. He was a man who shifted India's center of gravity from the Gangetic Plains to the Deccan Plateau. He founded a dynasty that would act as a bridge between the north and the south, facilitating the exchange of culture, trade, and ideas for over 4 centuries. The Satavahanas defended the Deccan from foreign invaders, like the Sakas and Kushans, preserving a unique cultural identity. They were great builders, leaving behind magnificent stupas at Amaravati and intricate, rock-cut caves in the Western Ghats. They were patrons of literature, with Prakrit being their official language. All of this started with his overthrow of the canvas in 60 BCE was not just a regime change, it was the start of a new era for India. He was a pioneer, an empire builder, and a figure whose life, despite the gaps in our knowledge, demonstrates the incredible dynamism and political upheaval of ancient India, from a tribal chief to the founder of a mighty empire. Simuka's story is a testament to ambition and political acumen. Though ancient texts may disagree on the nature of his character, they all agree on his impact. He planted the seed from which a great banyan tree of an empire grew, an empire that would define an age. The coins bearing his name, pulled from the earth to millennia later, are a tangible link to this enigmatic founder, a whisper from the past telling a grand story of the birth of the Sat. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed uncovering the mysteries of Simuka, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to explore next. See you in the next video.